Do you remember the podcast we did some time ago about the difficulty of getting fertilizer for the potato farmers? And I said that spuds will become something of a delicacy because there will be a hike in prices
Yeah.
because of this. Well, the farmers did get their fertilizer in the end, but it didn't come cheap. The price of the commodity shot through the roof because of the difficulty of having what product was available at the time.
Mm.
This rising prices has to be passed on to the consumer, you.
Yes.
Now, however, there is an aggravant or two which will impede not only the spud from reaching the kitchen table, but just about every grown crop product made in Europe and the UK. The recent hot spell, whilst for some was good news as they stripped down to their swimwear and went to their beaches and parks to catch some rays, has been a disaster for farmers, both on the arable side and on the meat and dairy side also. The drought has all but destroyed their production. Because of this, fresh fruit, vegetable, and grain prices will suffer a hefty price increase across the board this autumn. Because across Europe, June and July were particularly brutal, yields have been decimated, and the growing season hasn't ended yet. There's still this month and September to go, with more heat waves predicted for these months. In Brittany and France, the growers' collective called Prince de Bretagne said that never before had they seen such devastation. It is counting on a reduced yield by 40% for peas, 60% for broccoli, and between 50% and a total wipeout for artichokes. Eric Legras, president of a canning and frozen vegetable company, said that the situation in France was special, which means that it doesn't happen every day.
No, of course not.
The problem for livestock is no better. As the pastures have all been but scorched and feed production has been affected, producers are having to send their animals to slaughter sooner rather than later, as there is not enough food to go round for the animals. As there will be a glut of meat on the market because of this, the prices may go down a little. But as our friend Survival Lily so rightly pointed out, when we get to that stage at the other end of this curve, prices will rise dramatically as there will be less offer in the middle to long term.
Yeah.
So price reduction will be limited. I guess the best thing to do to escape this eventual calamity on the wallet is to stock up on non-perishables now, so that October, November time, nobody will get caught with their pants down. So eating habits will need to change a little more. Spaghetti and rice instead of potatoes and fresh veg, as they will become a premium. And I still go by what I said in that podcast a while ago. The spud will become a delicacy.
Right. Okay. I mean, okay, I can't speak for France. I mean, they have different farming techniques and the open field systems, everything they have there is slightly different. But the UK, I mean, every so often, it's always spoken about. The biggest problem with regards to droughts in the UK has always been water distribution. And it always gets spoken about. I mean, we got one of the wettest climates in the world, yet got nowhere to utilize the water. I mean, you've got a canal system which is still operating that's full of water. When it rains, water still comes down off the mountains. I mean, obviously I'm not a geologist or somebody who studies all this, but there is water available in the UK. And yeah, it always happens. Oh, we've been hit with this drought. It happens once every 10 years, really, from what I can tell. Yeah. And it's not got any more frequent than it has done. People are talking about the same as 1996, which is 40 years ago. Yeah. 76. Yeah. I remember that. That's in my lifetime. And before that, there was hot weather there. The next thing is will be being hit with too much water, and they can't capture it enough to store it somewhere for it to be utilized should the need arise again. Normally, you get it in 2 year cycles. You get a hot summer 2 years in a row, which possibly next year will happen again. I don't think this has much to do with climate change and just the way that the climates work. It's the
No,
all-nil
it's
now, as you say.
what
Yeah. Yeah.
the meteorologists have been
Mm,
saying. El Nino
mm. Yeah.
this and next is going to get stronger.
Yeah.
It's going to get so strong it's going to affect the
Mm,
whole of the northern hemisphere
yeah.
and the north of the southern hemisphere.
Yeah. So,
Where we are in the northeast of Brazil, we've been spared
mm,
in so much as here is quite warm anyway. It's
yeah.
subtropical here
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
That we won't feel too much of
No.
of a higher temperature.
No.
But in the north, especially now that intensive farming
Yeah.
is needed to supply at least Europe
Mm,
and also for where they get their exports are going to die off.
yeah.
We're going to get funny shaped vegetables in the supermarkets as the quality goes down,
Mm,
and it's going to be so much more expensive, as I
yeah.
see it.
Yeah. I mean, cost of living on top of cost of living, high cost of living already. Yeah. And yes, I mean, dig for victory. Get out of your backyard and start. Well, even that won't help you. Unless you start breeding, unless you start growing for yourself. Um,
Well,
it's
it's the water. It isn't the
yeah,
land. So
yeah, that's it. And you're not allowed
water,
to. Yeah, I was just going to say that. I was just thinking that you mustn't draw off um draw off the mains to water your garden. I don't know about if you're allowed to have a barrel comes down, it fills up with water, and then you tap it off, and so when it rains, you collect it. And I believe people have been prosecuted for that because apparently there's some
that's
lot
only
of
in America. I think that's only in some places like
yeah.
California.
Yeah, as I said, I wasn't sure. Fake news people for the UK. Sorry about that, but yeah, trouble is you hear so much news sometimes, and yeah, which does seem ridiculous as well. But okay, that's the US, not the UK. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe store water for yourself. But yeah, farmers are very limited in what they can do. They can't store lots and lots of water because they've got other things. And when you've got a big storage tank, you have to maintain the thing as well. Otherwise, it will leak like hell. Um, and yeah, that's only going to be limited. The amount of water probably a farm uses in a day as well. I mean, they have to have permission to draw off lakes and everything else. I know it's bad at the moment because as where I come from, one of our main reservoirs is down to a level I haven't seen in like for years. Yeah, literally see the mud. I don't know. It's not there. I believe in other places they're finding World War II planes that were down in World War II. Yeah, um, yeah, and it's a yes, it is a matter of concern. I mean, even if it starts raining next week, um, and then what happens then? Everywhere floods. Yeah, but
Well, even if it rained moderately, the season is ending.
yeah,
When I was a kid, uh, I remember we used to go people in and potato picking,
yeah,
and I can't imagine many. There's a woman there called Fat Rini who was in charge of the people as, and they used to send her a sack, fill up a sack and give it to her to put on the
yeah,
scales and
yeah,
weighed right. Yeah, I
yeah,
think you got 50p or something like that,
yeah,
10 shilling.
yeah,
And the kids putting rocks and stuff in the center of the peas to try and
yeah,
get them
yeah,
to weigh more.
yeah.
And she had a foul mouth on her, but of course she's dead because I was a kid when that
Well, yeah,
happened, when she was there.
yes.
But I can't see many people doing that this year.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, yeah. There is now a what's the old expression? It never rains, but it pours. Everything on old expression meaning everything will go wrong at the same time. Um, and these are the real emergencies. I mean, overpopulation of the UK, so too many mouths to feed, which comes back to another thing. Andy Burnham is going around the country, and I hear he was talking to farmers about this very issue the other day. Jeremy Clarkson, I think, is crowing about it or speaking about it. So some celebrities, those in the country and in the countryside. And yeah, people do forget when they go into their local supermarket where the food comes from. Forget the meats, the vegetables as well. Just because it grows in the ground, yes, something happens. I mean, I read a I read a I read a meme the other day, or just something flashed up. Yeah. Or was it human civilization still relies on 4 inches of soil, rain, and sun. That's it. Yeah. If we don't have those, we're screwed, really. And I mean, even processed food comes from somewhere. Yeah. Okay, the peas could have been picked 2 years ago. Um, how much? How long will they last? I mean, I don't know. It's ages since I've had any processed food because I live in a country that doesn't doesn't really have processed food as such. It does, but you understand what I mean. Yeah, yeah. I go down the supermarket, or we go to the supermarket once a week almost, and stock up on what we need, or even once a month. But yeah. So yes, I'm not. I mean, how do you prepare for this? How does the ordinary person prepare for this? Um,
Well, there've been many uh, people coming on the internet saying, you know, stock up on your non-perishables.
mm,
These emergency
the
food
pre the preppers,
parcels.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So, they'll be saying who's laughing now in a couple of months.
yeah,
Uh, and by which time, of course, all their prices will have gone up.
mm,
But I mean, as spaghetti,
mm.
dried food, spaghetti, dried vegetables, and peas and beans and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but then
Basically, what we get here.
yeah, I mean we have dry things, but yeah, we more fresh. But then the trouble is processed food has inherent health issues with it. It's not fresh, and you can eat meats,
Well,
proteins.
just need to hydrate them again.
So I say, I mean, yeah, I mean, yes, I'm still dubious about the nutritional quality of them, but you'd have to speak to a nutritionist about that. Um, yeah, yeah, coming from somewhere, yeah, we did grow up on processed food, and I can't remember the last time extensively we had weeks on end with processed food here. But yeah, we go to the cupboard, and I could open my cupboard now and probably only got about 2 tins of something. But yeah, one of them's tuna fish, oh, the sardines, sorry. But yeah, must admit that's quite nice. Sardines,
Yeah,
packaged sardines that put in with a bit of
they
a
last for ages. They
yeah,
last for a year or two.
yeah. So I mean yeah, probably has protein and everything you need in it. Um, let's get to the beach with your fishing rod and do some beach casting. Um, yeah, I mean that's it. We may have to start looking at ourselves how we do survive. This was never done after we left Europe, if you know what I mean. Yeah, this is what was spoken about. Survival. Yeah, interdependency on Europe when we should be feeding ourselves. I mean, no easy answers on this one. They are where they are. Um, I know that the government have been having what do they call their special emergency meeting? Cobra. They've been having their Cobra meetings about it. So hopefully they've got a plan in place.
Yeah,
That's
they know which restaurant to go to these days.
well, yeah, that's it. I mean, what McDonald's price is like now these days, if you don't mind horse. Oh, sorry,
McDonald's, they wouldn't be
must
seen
say.
dead. They won't be seen dead in there.
Well, yeah,
They're making it's illegal now to have loud music and and music coming from your cell phones and things in Weatherspoons because they think that they might have to go there eventually.
Actually, I mean, no, Weatherspoons was always like that. They they very rarely had screens, sometimes for football and things. Yeah, but I mean, there was a slightly, they've always been a bit like that, Weatherspoons have. And I could quite agree with it, no loud music. Why, if you're on a social, I mean, I've always thought, well, if you're on a social night out, why do you extensively need your mobile phone going for anything? Yeah. I mean, I get a bit peed off when I'm on a night out and somebody's flashing a camera in my face, recording me doing stuff. Yeah. Um, yeah, I feel like getting up and doing, putting on a proper show sometimes that can't go on the internet, but
But
probably still will.
I bet you do.
Yeah. Well, um, yes. Well, yeah. English teaching only goes so far. But yeah. Um, no, I'm not online anywhere else. This is my only engagement on on social media, if you like. No, nowhere else. Yeah, we're not that desperate. Um, yes, what do they call themselves? I don't know, there's something else now. But yes, getting back to your main thing, the I don't know what the solution is, and like you said, we're not feeling it here. We've had an increase in food prices here, certainly, which we shouldn't have had.
No, well, but that was down to energy costs. That was down to
Yeah,
the high rise, the rise in fuel
yeah,
prices, gas prices,
yeah. I have noticed bags of rice have got a bit
but it's
cheaper
coming
these
back
days.
down.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
I've noticed is I do all my food shopping in the same place,
yeah.
and when a product when a fresh food product is in season,
Mm,
the price comes way down.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And when it's out of season and they have to import them from Argentina or somewhere else, of course the price goes right up.
Yeah. But
And then what I do is just buy the things that are in season.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of living here, actually. And it used to be the UK. Yeah, if you stick to what your own country provides,
Yeah.
um, and I mean, even in the drought situation, I mean, there were droughts before we had all the technology in England. I mean, yeah, people did used to suffer and everything in a way that probably wouldn't now, but um, somehow they used to cope. Um, I mean, yes, that will be the next thing. That there'll be so much rain coming out the sky in England that there'll be mass flooding everywhere. And um, and again, that they pump this excess water out into the sea because they've got nowhere to store it. Um, I mean, you can't keep making reservoirs everywhere. I know that the plans to make some more underground ones, I believe. But these have been kicking around for 50 years. These plans have. Um, so yeah, because it's always getting talked about, then it gets forgotten, and then there's a change of administration with no no real plan, and it all gets started again. There's the repeated feasibility studies or something that was feasibility studied 30 years previously, all sorts of stuff that's meant to prevent all this BS happening time and time again. All this seems to get forgotten, and then governments, yeah, politicians, oh, we're having a meeting, we're going to resolve it, and it doesn't get resolved.
I think the Farage said on his um, reform manifesto that one of the things that they're going to do is to open up new reservoirs
I mean,
because the UK can have a lot of water. Water, it's the old water everywhere and not a drop
yeah,
to drink.
yeah. I mean, I did see something about um, Elon Musk talking about desalination. Different, yeah. He was talking about. I think it was him. Talk. Sorry for misquote, and yeah, people might want to research um, how we could look at that as another viable option. Um, we're surrounded by water, yeah. Um, I mean, and yeah, we've still got rivers coming out the ground. The Thames doesn't dry up. I've never seen the Thames dry up. I've never seen the Medway dry up. I've never seen the Severn dry up, the Ouse dry up. In fact, the Ouse has too much water again sometimes. It floods a third of York. and I've lived in York, and I do know that happens. Um, yeah, I mean, and we've got canals all around the country that were built that I've never seen them go particularly dry. They go down a bit, but never dry. Um, so the water distribution is there. Maybe there's a little bit more imagination required. I don't know. I mean, I'm not, yeah, I'm not that kind of engineer, but I know what I would do. I know what I would be thinking if I was sitting in Whitehall trying to come up with emergency strategies. Yeah, that maybe there's reasons why none of this can happen, and I'm happy to be shot down.